It's so hype. First and foremost, because it was what I got first hyped about. Kanavi's Kazakhs. Like, this is going to be awesome to watch him try to pick apart this map. But on the other side, I'm always a fan of developmental talent. You know me. But man, to see LPC in this moment, in this split against JDG, having had that game number 1, hovering and going with the Ezreal, another comfort pick from him. And then now in a game that is a make or break moment, grab it out, the Samira. It is going to be a 2v2 tussle down there. And how quickly can both of these junglers get involved early on in these teams? That will dictate the pace of these games. But I expect absolute bloodshed here for our game number 3. And rightfully so here on our Super Thursday. 5 days a week, we have 3 best of 3s. These teams are in a gauntlet in this summer split. And speaking of gauntlet, we finally see the culmination of this one, this third game between JDG and LGD. Let's hear those Gyos roar. You have to find a way to play around for LGD. And speaking of finding a way, they're going to focus holistically on the other side of the map and on to Knight, who's going to go golden after popping the tippers. But Haichao has showed up, and it's now just about who's going to get the kill, and it's Haichao. First blood, finally, at 16:53. Get that second item completion for Kanavi as well, which is pretty big. We'll be back out on the map now, trying to keep some vision game around this top side, but not again. Knight goes with the preemptive tippers. There ain't nothing saving you today, buddy. And Knight will go 0-2 and be the 2 kills that LGD have picked up in the side lane. Argyle stone plate completed for 369, but specifically didn't have a flank ward to come to, so just going to join a front to back. Knight might look for a flank here. A flash tibbers could be the decisive need that JDG have. The LGD would just want to slow roll this one. They do have a pretty stout team fight, and again, LPC needs to wait to get into these fights. He cannot get picked off because he will be the finishing factor for LGD in a lot of this. And right now, we're just getting an okay corral standoff.
So Knight is stood on this blast cone. Watch what he can do with that. There is no vision inside the pit to see Knight hop over this wall. Fitness can get Hull Breaker, but needs to be stood away from his team. Here comes Knight.
Meteor goes in. Jinjiao's trying to connect. They're getting Ruler. Big blade caller. Everything goes on a Ruler, and he stands the test of time for now. The rest of JDG have already picked him up. Ruler is still standing. Ruler will not go down, and Ruler outplays them all.
6,000 damage right into the faces of LGD as LPC is absolutely pummeled by Knight and 369. 2 parts of a greater whole. JDG win their own AD carry battle and take down the opponents.
What a play. Literally just throwing themselves at this Xayah Yuumi combo, and nothing came up to task. JDG now forcing the hand onto the Baron, as they should be able to secure this one. No smite, and that is Kanavi coming away with it, but JDG, more importantly, all those Baron buffs.
They really could have left that any later, could they? That last dragon on the table in regards to LGD potentially getting that soul would have been an absolute killer for them. Giving over that much of an advantage would have been very, very difficult. They even up the gold, they get themselves a Baron. They don't lose anyone in that attempt as well. It is just so painful for LGD. It felt like they'd got themselves some advantages. But watch this. LPC doesn't get to play. It's just completely lights out. The only thing you can dodge from these solo laners is one skill shot from Annie. Besides that, it is all direct damage through your Blade World. You don't get to block any of it.
Yeah.
While all that's happening, Ruler has a Yuumi on his back. Gets huge damage through those feathers.
Just the fact that all 3, Haichao, Meteor, and Jinjiao, just threw their ultis at Ruler, and you know, most of them did not connect, and he's just standing there while the rest of the backline of LGD is getting eviscerated. It feels good for a JDG fan, but it feels good for JDG, right? They're being able to pick apart this composition from LGD and play to the strengths of theirs. They are at the point where they thrive. We've said it time and time again. There is a countdown timer when it comes to JDG. You do not want to face this beast in a team fight. And Knight, he's not in a team fight, so maybe he wants to face the beast as Meteor. We'll go ahead and pick that one up.
And Fairness is still in this.
Fairness!
Fairness!
Oh, 369! to solo bolo my king.
How does he do that into a hull breaker? That's meant to be the side laning 1v1 item. 369
He's just
bungled
built
alone.
different. Throw those
built
nines out, baby. 369 on this Cassante is literally just built different.
He literally has built different. He doesn't have a hull breaker, and he doesn't need one. And that's so important. Despite Knight dying on that top side, you thought that Fierce might be able to win on the other side of the map too. It will be an inroad for LGD against this Baron buff. 369 clutch solo kill to put the map into fully JDG control.
A tier 2 tower to boot in the end of that one. We got to look at this.
So he gets hit by one, gets aggroed by a couple of those Baron creeps, and he just goes through all of his cooldowns. Like, he's getting aggroed by a lot of creeps, don't get me wrong, but wow, that is a lot of skill shots hit by 369. There you go.
To defend LGD's top laner, and he should actually get picked out here. One more auto, and there you go. Kill given over to Meteor. As LPC is getting chased out by Knight, doesn't go down. We got a fight on the bottom side, though. Ruler will be kiting away as the final chapter for Missing comes through. A double kill, rang true, and Knight with a flash gets one back for JDG.
It's still a pretty good play for LGD overall, though. Fierce this time doesn't fall down in that side lane. JDG, they overcommit a little bit too much, and means that they give a bit of breathing room over where potentially they were looking to kind of snuff out the last kind of resistance from LGD. As it stands, though, still 40 seconds till the dragon comes up. All of this is kind of a little bit secondary to this dragon spawn right now. Still Soul potentially on the table from LGD. Everyone will respawn by that time. The only thing really missing will be those summoners just used in that play.
So I know we said intermission for the Baron fight, but now we have another intermission because you know both teams are fighting this dragon fight about 20 seconds. So let's look at this replay.
This is an encore. It's the same thing, right?
This is an encore.
So it's definitely an encore. Yeah. It's like every time you go to see a band and it's like, oh man, they played their last song, and they know they're gonna come out for another time anyway. This one, LPC, we've seen him go down before. That's maybe the encore he didn't want. The only two things he can block with his Blade Wall, he's stunned for, so he can't get them off. Back into his Dragon now, though, but JDG, they're one down. Cannot let LGD get that soul.
Do not want to give over that sustainability to LGD in their competition. Meganar for Fearness popping up here. Again, LPC needs to buy time in these fights. The Samir is no use to anyone dead, and they just need to get catch-outs. Ruler will be playing so safe, and he has been for so long in this game. Tibbers is available to Dragon down. It goes over to Kanavi. You got the final chapter ringing out here, but you got Jin Zhao trying to run away from Kanavi. He does get away, but on the back line, you got 369. Pop Blossom here, though. That's pretty big, but Ruler is still full health because he got untouched in that. LGD are running for the hills, but the hills have eyes, and those eyes are red like the heart of JDG.
That'll be the fight which will really put the nails in the coffin of LGD. Couple of members dead. I don't think they can stabilize the map. They're going to lose inhibs. Even if the game doesn't end here, it's likely a Baron to the side of JDG. I don't think LGD can survive to another Dragon. Hell, they might not survive another wave.
There is no more time to wait. There is no more time to give. LGD with one last gasp effort here, baby. If the minion wave was there, you got a little bit of a push power from JDG, but you get one more fight, it feels like, from LGD, and they just have to find some prep map as JDG have their eyes right on Baron.
Yeah, Nico wave clear just about enough to clear out that wave. You see LGD through to limping through to potentially one more fight. LPC has not been able to play this game from laning phase to team fights. The Samira has failed in what LGD had set out to do with it. Meteor running towards this Baron. I don't think he can get there in time. He has no flash either.
I don't think he can either. They're just going to find 369 on the back to the pit. As Knight's actually waiting to pull the trigger on the other side. He has Tibbers coming up very soon. The all-out pop. Jin Zhao getting all of his health bar taken out. 369 just uses his dash out of there. Fearness hopping over the wall as LGD trying to capitalize on an overstay from JDG. They won't find anything.
And with that, they're now staring down. Significant gold advantage. Baron buff coming out as well. Good resets coming from JDG. There really isn't much for LGD to take in recompense for that either. Going back to this fight, though, once again, it just feels like LGD, they've not been able to get this Samira into the right position, doing the right amount of damage. standing on top of the tippers during this fight too. LPC is half HP before they even really get to commit to anything. 369, sure, he's getting low, maybe you can think of a reset there, but Summer just doesn't have the staying power. You don't have a shield though, you don't have a bloodthirster, and then you just die outright. Yeah,
even with that Inferno trigger, not even getting enough healing to survive one auto attack from 369, it is all out for him. So Navi now will continue pressing this snowball into the face of LGD. We have Fearness in the side getting 1v1 by Knight. Holy cow, that was so close. Fearness biting the bullet.
You know, it's going poorly. If the one person you could abuse in side lanes before this point is suddenly winning against your Hullbreaker champion, Knight has himself a teleport and the flash as well. Fearness might have to go back to base himself. Picks up his, he has 3 items of course, but it's still not helping him survive against that Annie. JDG running rampant across the map.
And it just fits their style so well from that game 2 advantage they had, right? Like all they needed was to survive. And we said that from the get-go, and they have done so, right? And we see the strength of their composition coming to life. We're getting to 3, 4 items now for them. And LGD are struggling to kind of keep up. We're about to get 3rd item for LPC very soon, but will there be enough time left on their life clock here is the remaining question.
I find it very hard to believe. LPC doesn't have any MR anyway, and has felt like it's been more than enough for just Knight pressing his buttons on top of the poor AD carry. Has himself that Lord Dominates regards. That item very good. Deep teleport from Haichao. They're going way behind Ruler. This is it. This is the last cast. What can they do with it?
I'll try to catch Ruler out. He has the ghost, but no flash. Will immediately pop that ghost as soon as he smells trouble. And Haichao didn't find that angle they needed. They got to deal with 369, who's in their base right now at their Nexus turrets.
Haichao, he's backing all the way off. Maybe wondering if someone from JDG is coming to hunt him down, but he's not going to be there for the flank. He's not even recalling. Haichao, get back to base.
Go for the log.
Go
for the log flank.
Go home.
Go to your home. Your home is destroyed, Nightmara. You can't go home because there's nothing left when JDG come to town. LPC gets shut down. Your hopes, your dreams for LGD, your possibility of taking down the Titans of JDG go straight out that window. And JDG roared alive in game 2 and smacked them down in game 3, taking a 2-1 victory.
That was the flank of nightmares. I get that you're in a very difficult spot. You've dug into this one corner. Lots of gold in the disadvantage as well, but that one has got to feel awful for Haichao, who on the whole was solid, but struggled to find the inspiration where it really mattered. And it felt like at the death of that series happened once more.
And I just look back to that game 1. They had, for LGD, such a good game plan, and they executed on it so well. But it's still JDG.